My name is Seth Rohrer. I'm a shamanic guide who helps people rediscover the truth of themselves, their true essence, that light that's always been inside of you that's just been forgotten. And together with my wife, we own Bites of Light. It's BYTES. And we have a podcast and a membership community for people to come and get that support in between during their everyday, when they're not able to attend these events that are so spectacular and so heart-opening, to get that lessons and those teachings and that support and that community to continue their growth. And we also do the retreats to help with that expansion. So, what does it mean to me to be a sacred rebel? The essence of that sacred rebel is owning your light and owning your truth and being true to that in the face of all of the expectations of others that would have you suppress that and be something different, even if it means taking the path less traveled, that is not as easy and may get resistance from those around you, and you may have to shed those people and those things around you that would keep you from that. So it's really about being true to yourself, but it can be perceived by others as being rebellious against society. Who is a sacred rebel that inspired me? That is nailing it down to one person is challenging. We absorb so many things as we go through our day and our life. Probably the biggest influence in that way was a business mentor of mine, a coach who is teaching online business. And even though it was uncomfortable, he began bringing spirituality into that space and introducing that to people who would otherwise not be exposed to it. I'm literally sitting here today because he was brave enough and rebellious enough to enter into the business community and say, there's more to life than the nuts and bolts, than the numbers. There is a deeper purpose, and when you open your heart to that, that's when your business will really explode, because you're serving with love. So my experience with Freedom, Folk, and Soul is fairly new and also very deep. My wife is very familiar with Stephanie. Their path goes back a couple of years, many years. And that is how I found Freedom, Folk, and Soul. That's why I'm here writing in this book. But it took about 2 seconds of being with Stephanie and Jeremy to know that our connection is deep and it goes way back. A defining moment when my rebel became sacred. It was probably just a few years ago. I had just kind of been stepping into my spirituality and teachings, and many of them were cerebral and in the mind, and I was understanding things. And I had a massive heart-opening experience. And when I went back to my everyday life, I found that everything had stayed the same, and I hadn't at all. And I had the opportunity at that point to choose to suppress who I was and what I had discovered and stay in my situation, and I was begged to do so. And I couldn't. I couldn't ignore who I was, what I discovered, what I'd learned. And I had to walk away. I walked away from a marriage, one that was happy. It wasn't a dysfunctional marriage to my knowledge. Just it was not going to serve. I wasn't going to be allowed to shine my light in that relationship any longer, and I made the choice for me. And that's when my rebel really became sacred.